Capricorn season isn't just about New Year's energy. It is a cosmic reset. And if you use it correctly, it will help change your entire 2026. Welcome back to my channel, beautiful people. Today we are talking about Capricorn energy. We're talking about Capricorn energy and understanding how to use Capricorn energy as we enter 2026 to have a successful 2026. We term this as the new year. And often when we are starting at a new place, it's like a reset. It's an opportunity to reset. And when we are wanting to reset, we have new goals, things that we tend to put in place that we want to achieve. And Capricorn energy is beautiful energy to do this with. It is very supportive in that. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about what is Capricorn energy, first of all. So Capricorn energy, that archetype, what it wants ultimately is to master. It wants to master things. And how beneficial is that to you, to me, to all of us right now? So how it does this in mastering is by building. It has discipline. It has structure. It is consistent. These are things that it takes to master something. And so we're going to talk about a number of things that we can do in our practices, our rituals, because that tends to be what our rituals are. It can be our practices that we bring about in the course of our day to help with that, to help be able to ultimately build what it is you're wanting to build, complete what it is you're wanting to complete, but especially master the thing. How good would it feel when you set a goal and at the end of the timeline you've given yourself, which we're going to say is the end of 2026, that you can look back and say, I did that thing. I did do that thing last year, having this intention that I went into the year with, and being grounded in that, and looking back to see the things that happened in 2025, that was very rewarding. And that's going to give momentum to continue those types of behaviors. There's nothing better than being able to stay consistent than to be able to look back and recognize what you applied actually did take effect. It causes you to want to do that again. So let's talk about 3 things to do in this Capricorn energy, in this Capricorn season. So first, it is going to be setting long-term goals and structure around that. So you want to have an accomplishment. So in order to do that, what is a goal that you set with that? And once you understand the goal that you want, how do you create the environment to be disciplined to get that done? The structure that it takes. Structure helps us to not get off track. It helps us to not be out there in the clouds. I have a lot of fire energy, and it can be all over the place because I have a lot of mutable fire. Mutable means it changes a lot. So for me, I can sometimes be all over the place, and having grounded energy is very important for me because it keeps you in the physical. It keeps you here. When you're grounded, you are here to get the thing done. So having the goal, creating the structure. The second thing that we want to do in this Capricorn energy is to ground our nervous system. And I love talking about our nervous system because I work in mental health. I work as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, bringing holistic approaches to our mental health to see how powerful we actually are and the abilities that we have that can really help our mental health more than we're ever taught. But grounding the nervous system is very important. When you think about Capricorn energy, its element is earth. And when you think about earth, earth means that it's what's solid. It's what's here. It's what we step on. It's the physical realm. It's the physical world. It's what you want to bring into fruition in this place. It's the physical. And so grounded energy helps you to be here. Sometimes when we are dealing with a nervous system that is upset, we can be thinking about the past, we could be worrying about the future, we could be, distracted somewhere else. But Capricorn energy and grounded energy keeps you here. So sometimes even the ways to remember to stay here is to stomp on the floor, to remember to keep you recognizing this is where you're planted, having your feet flat on the floor, taking deep diaphragmatic breaths, breathing. Especially when you're intentional, you have to be present to do that. And grounded energy means that you're present. To be able to get the things done that you want to get done, it takes being present. And having those rituals to do those things that help you to stay present keeps you aligned. So every now and then, starting your day with deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, and that can be breathing in through your nose, and you are filling up your belly, not your chest. So you're breathing in through your nose for 4 seconds, then you hold for 2, and then you exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds, like you're deflating a balloon. That type of breathing, you can't do that breathing and also be over here in the clouds. You have to be present to do that. You can't be worrying about the future when you're in the present moment doing diaphragmatic breathing. Even doing some tapping at times, even having like a rubber band around your wrist and just sometimes popping that helps to keep you here, to recognize right now. These are things that you can consider doing to be present, to get outside and to do grounding work like walking barefoot, depending on where you are. Walking barefoot in the soil keeps you planted on this earth, and it also helps to give nutrients that come by way of absorbing through your feet from the soil. But these are techniques that you can use to be more grounded. And again, to be grounded means to be present. When you're present, you're more likely able to get things done that are tangible in the physical. All right. Third thing that we want to do to help maintain Capricorn energy is to identify what no longer is aligned for us as we come into 2026. That's an important thing to recognize. We don't want to take baggage with us because that weighs you down, that distracts you, that keeps you derailed from the path that you are wanting to be on. It's important to recognize what were the things that didn't really serve you, or maybe it did serve you in 2025, but you understand now it's time to move on. But then also what didn't serve you. We can certainly look and see things that were vices or things that really didn't help us in the past, that we have to make a conscious decision to say, I cannot take this with me. And it may not be people, even though it could be patterns that you've had. It could be ways of thinking that you've had. It could be certain habits. So these are things to recognize, to write down, to be honest about, and to set with intention that these things have to stay behind and a new way has to move forward with you. So those are the 3 things that I'm saying, let's do these things to help bring in the power of Capricorn energy. And now we're going to talk about 3 things that you do want to avoid, because when we are talking about Capricorn energy or any of the archetype energies, there is a novice, or that energy of it that's not developed yet. So it may do things that could be in its, let's say, lower nature. And then there's where you're at the point where you are at the higher expression of that energy. And at the higher expression, you're taking all of the stronger qualities. When you're at the lower expression, there's some work that still needs to do, because there are things that, there are extremes to both. There are things that you can be doing that could be part of Capricorn energy that don't serve you. So people talk about Capricorn energy, and some people are a little afraid of Capricorn energy because it can be hard. It can be hard working. It can, be these things, but that can be true. It has its benefits, but then you do want to think about what are the aspects that actually, even though this is a energy that is for building, what are the parts that can actually slow you down and keep you from your goals? So one is perfectionism. Capricorn is very hardworking. It's very diligent. It wants to master. It can be so focused on wanting to master that it becomes a perfectionist, type A type of energy, that doing things all the time because all it wants to do is accomplish. But when we do that too much and you're only in this physical and only trying to make things perfect, that can become stress. And stress is not going to be our friend when we are trying to build something, because that weighs us down. That impacts our nervous system in a negative way in a long term. Long-term perfectionism or long-term stress is going to impact your nervous system. And we just talked about wanting to have a relaxed nervous system to help us bring into our space the goals that we want to accomplish. So perfectionism is something that we have to avoid. We have to allow mistakes, because even in mistakes, there's a great amount of learning that you can do. And also relaxation. When we relax, we can actually get more that comes to us, more information that we can use in that effort to build. Second is going to be overworking. Because Capricorn is hardworking, again, it wants to do something so bad, it can overwork itself, and that can lead to exhaustion. And if we are tired, we cannot get the energy that we need to do the things, and we also won't get the insight. A lot of what we're doing is physical, but there is a spiritual part that comes into this too. And when we are overworked and exhausted, it's going to be more difficult to tap into that part of who it is that we actually are. So being overworked is a trait that Capricorn energy can have in its lower form, because it wants so bad to master the thing that it forsakes everything. To be overworked can take away joy, and we want to have joy in this process of building. And last but not least, it's going to be ignoring emotional needs in the name of productivity. Yeah, so we are not just physical beings, and we're not just here to produce. We are also here to feel. And if we are not feeling well emotionally because of how hard we are overworking ourselves and how perfect we're trying to be, this is going to lead to lower vibes, lower energy. And lower energy is going to produce lower results. We want to be in high vibration, high energy, so that what we're producing is also that in the things that we want to have. We want to create these goals that we want to set in 2026 because we want to be in a joyful place from those things. We want to have a better life, more ease, or something that when we're first setting that intention, we have a smile on our face about it. But if we go about it in these hard ways, and we only stick to just the physical, it can take away joy. When we think about energy, we also want to think about that energy's opposite, because it really does speak about the whole of that. And so it's interesting because with Capricorn, its opposite is Cancer. And Cancer is about emotions, and it's about feelings, and it's about connection and roots. And when you are thinking about Capricorn, it's important to also think about Cancer. So very much so in that last don't to do is to not get detached from your emotions. It's important. You have to draw on Cancer energy and remember what is Cancer energy about. It is important to be connected to our emotions, to know how we're feeling, to deal with those things, to balance that so that you bring the joy in the things that you're building for yourself and for the people around you. So that is what I'm leaving with you today. But remember, at the end of the day, Capricorn is about mastery. Mastery can happen in ways that are healthy. And that is what we're reaching for in 2026. I am wishing that for you. Leave me a message in the chat with a heart to let me know that this resonated with you. And I will see you in 2026.